गुड इवनिंग एंड वेलकम टू गनर शॉट। गनर शॉट में आप सबका स्वागत है। इट्स अ प्लेजर टू बी बैक in from my own seat talking to all of you. I do hope both of you have seen those. I mean, all of you have seen those two small clips which I put out yesterday from Mao. Well, just to put things in perspective, I went to the Army War College for their annual defense and strategy seminar. It was a great discourse. Interacted with a whole lot of top level and current and future army leadership of the armed forces. Of course, General Rajiv Narayanan was there. Both of us were there, part of a panel, uh, and we spoke of a lot of technology and all that. I'll talk of the technology, everything tomorrow morning. Certain things which I spoke to people and where we are heading. And what's the feeling of people on ground and where so it's important for us to understand that story. That's it. But today going to talk of China's multi-front offensive. Before that, I want to, talk. There is, there are rumors, like Karthik says, of Imran Khan being dead. At this point of time, the only rumors. We don't know who spread them. A lot of, blind spots in it. So let's hold our horses. If he's really dead, people will be out on the streets, right? And if he's really dead and people are not out on the streets, then you know what the Pakistan you're going to deal with. So let's see. Don't let's not be in a hurry. But today we're going to talk of this. Uh, I gave it a thought, a long thought actually. Uh, why is China behaving the way it is behaving just now? They've picked up a spat with Japan, which need not have been so violent. They picked up a spat now with India, which is going on a trajectory of its own. They've taken up issues with USA. The very unusual things are happening. So, what do you make sense out of this whole story? Well, the Japanese Prime Minister did say something. The Chinese reaction, to my way of looking at it, is completely out of proportion. Completely. Okay. Then this lady is going from London to, you know, Japan. She's just transiting through Shanghai. She happens to be from Arunachal. I'm sure if this is not the first time she is doing it, I'm very sure. That's not come out, but I'm sure she is a professional. She is quite articulate. If you've heard her, and many of you would have heard her by now. Why does she get picked off a line and then made mocked, kept for that time, and then let go and all that? And now the reactions are coming pretty high. Why does this happen? Why does Xi Jinping give a call to Trump? Incidentally, I in my living memory, out of the blue, without any of these things, no Chinese head of state or the CCP president has spoken to the president of USA. The way it has happened. Normally, if there's a phone call, something comes behind. And then you see the way Taiwan has reacted and things are going against Taiwan. Then certain things started. Till yesterday night, I didn't get it, to be very honest. Uh, I read this article in Economist. Then I said, yeah, there is something falling in place. And fairly by afternoon, I was very clear what's happening, what's China up to. Right. For example, wants to know. I want to know why China seeks to humiliate India for apparently no substantial benefit. This new provocation won't change any facts on the ground, but will surely sabotage economic relations. This is precisely what you have to understand. Let's be very clear in the India context. Not a single stone of Arunachal Pradesh will be given to China free of cost. They have to shed blood in huge dollops if something has to happen in Arunachal. Okay, I am being very blunt about it. People will die, and China won't be able to bear it if they want Zangan, as they call it. But yet they've chosen to take this head on. They started from somewhere and going somewhere. Where they start this program is not the issue. Where are they going is the issue. And that's what we're going to talk of. That's what we're going to talk of. I'm going to do rambling kind of a storytelling with facts. Because, what China does is all a story. And this story one has to understand. Who don't understand the story, you're out of the game. Okay? Let's get going. You know, this is article from Economist which says China will be tempted to shift geopolitically from defense to offense. As per this article, China has had a very good year this year, and I think so. In many respects, China has had a damn good year. Why? Because a lot of economies are going off haywire. A lot of issues are happening, and hence, when you see it from that perspective, there's a lot of internal fracturing in big economies. So if you see from it from that perspective, a lot of people are turning to China, at least economically. So China is okay. But that's only one way of looking at China. There are a lot of other problems. But overall, this author, he says China will be tempted to go from offense to defense to offense. But I think it's not they will be tempted to go from defense to offense. I think it's already there. And it's playing a high stakes game. Actually, China has put forth a bold game at global dominance. You have to understand this. Whether it's spat with India, China, Japan, and uh, USA or USA. So I thought, it came to me sometime late in the afternoon that there is a bigger game on. So I'll put that whole story out. And some might say this is conjecture. And all these events which I'm going to narrate have no correction. But I think there is. When you look at China deeply the way I have, it comes true. Nothing is unconnected. So let me connect the tangents because this whole story, every aspect of the story is on one tangent. And then let me stitch these tangents together. Right. Where does this story start? You have to understand where the story starts. This story starts in the peak of tariff war, which Japan unleashed against Japan. Not Japan unleashed, which Trump unleashed against Japan, India, Indo-Pacific, and Taiwan. Now let me explain. Each has a different connotation in the tariff war. Tariff war, the biggest foolishness which Mr. Trump has done is he tariffed friends. He tariffed friends who were supposed to be his, who were guarding the fort. Japan. He expected Japan to put $500 billion and still get, all the contribute or rather contribute to his tariff kitty. Well, there's a limit. Japan did to a large extent. Now I think there are issues. There are wrinkles in that story. India, the story is not ended. In fact, the story with India is absolutely sordid. We'll come to that. You want to go and hit your head against the wall? Do what Trump has done. Between a wall and a head, the head breaks. And the wall smiles. Okay. Taiwan. Taiwan and Indo-Pacific, he just neglected. You neglect that area, it is like, leaving vacuum and someone else will get in, and that's what's happened. That's the game. That's why I started with this blog. So where does that lead? So Xi Jinping saw his opportunity. China saw its opportunity in the SCO. And they made a big hue and cry about the SCO. Yeah, what are the significant things? That great photo op between Putin, Modi, and him. It shook the world. That just one photo, strategic communication shook the world. Towards the end, mind you, towards the end, when Mr. Modi was there, he let go of this global governance initiative. China put that forth. Now it's there on the table. A lot of people said, kya hai yaar ye? Sorry, we didn't read the tea leaves. I did do a program on that. But I was a minority. People said, yaar, ye to bewkoof hai. That is the beginning of this offensive. You have to go back to the roots. Then he did this military parade. And this military parade, thankfully, your prime minister was not there. But you found, the top billing was Vladimir Putin, Kim Jong Un, and Xi Jinping. Like, that again caught people's imagination. Is there a connect between the two? Of course, there's a connect. And we'll talk of that also. Oh, this was followed up by attempts to establish global governance. There are. And that was happening, US was abrogating its role and running away. When if this was not enough, Xi Jinping goes to Korea and has a summit with Xi. What happens after that summit? Nothing. A tactical retreat by both. But you look at American media, you look at Chinese media, you look at any media, everyone says China benefited. And after that, I think Xi Jinping understood this is my opportunity. This is China's opportunity. Who do I tackle? If I have to be dominant, if China has to be dominant, which are the ones which matter to me to make it dominant? You have to understand that. If you don't understand it, you're done. I mean, don't waste your time in this podcast. Go. There are 1,000 podcasts which talk nonsense. Go there and listen. USA, of course. Japan, India, Taiwan. For different reasons. And we'll talk of those in detail. This is only the precursor so far what I've spoken. So what does Xi Jinping seek with USA? Very clearly, he is establishing today G2 status with USA. He says you and I will handle the post-war global order. Very significant. If you don't understand this, then he's taken up a sovereignty issue with India. Reaffirm the sovereignty issue with India so that we don't have big dreams. Okay? We don't have big dreams. So he's taken us back into the border. All our strategists will start barking. Oh, border, 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 border. That's what he wants. At a time when we are in a pickle, we said we'll have flights, AO and all that. But the focus is on border. We'll talk about it later. Then Japan, suppress it, bully it, and back it into a corner. And of course, Taiwan's status he wants to alter. I mean, all four are on the plan. Remember, the largest economy, the third largest economy, and the fourth largest economy. You leave Germany out. Germany is an ailing economy. Okay, that's also there. Out of the five largest economies, Xi Jinping has taken on three economies. And he's not going to go military. Take it from me. He will not move his military. Without moving his military, diplomatically, economically, and politically, he is doing this story. We have to understand this. How you handle it is later, we'll come to that. What triggered this off? Look at it. Foreign Affairs talking of America's self-defeating China strategy. And this article was not far back, early this month. New soft power imbalance. China's cautious response to America's retreat. This cautious response was last some time back. It's no more cautious. It's not caution thrown to winds, very calculated surge which is happening. Incrementally, but very clearly. Unless we understand the larger issues, we will not get it. Now, look at where did the opportunity come for China to do all that? Till such time, India was deemed to be geopolitically strong. China could do nothing. The combined weight of India plus China, India plus USA. I've always said this. India plus USA will outmaneuver, outmuscle, out economy, out militarize China. China will not dare to talk. India was the economic alternative to China and Trump ended that. Period. People, that's the result what's happening today. He sees a divide. All his opponents are divided. So he's dealing with them individually along tangents which have no connect with each other. Someone might say, yeah, this fellow's an idiot talking like this. Well, the Chinese believe in this kind of a thing. He is going along this principle of winning without fighting. People in the top opinion makers in USA are saying, weaken China's rival. What a strange strategy. Well, it might be a strange strategy for everyone else, but for Xi Jinping, it's the best strategy, the best opening. And like this article is over a month and a half old. This comes then when Xi Jinping is meeting Trump in Busan around that time. So I'm sure all their thinkers would have seen these articles. This is the logic. They use that logic. Now, India is in a mess with China on a topic which is not connected with anything else, but the mess is there. That's the thing. You have to understand where it links. The link is in China. Anyway, we'll go to that. And what's more, Xi Jinping saw that Trump is pushing India towards China. Well, a great opportunity China got. The one country which China feared should not be on US side is now coming to his side. And it's adrift geopolitically. And this is the way they would have thought, they think. ये तो गया. They have to go back China now to Russia. That is, India has to go back to Russia. Russia is in our grip, and not, Russia likes nothing better than RIC. Moment you get into RIC, let me put it very clearly: your balls are cut. You cut off, everything will go flying out. And Trump is helping them. So China gets a great flip. Whether RIC comes or not is irrelevant. But Trump neutered India the way China looks at it. Now you can handle India separately. No one will help India. And Trump did it by, if I were the Chinese, I would be very happy with what Asimunir is doing. It's a dream run for China that Asim Munir went and sat in Trump's lap and ensured India was out of the Trump paradigm. Indra is adrift. So understand this, these scenes which are coming out. Now all this is happening, so China takes its opportunity during the SEO meet. Fag end of the SEO meet, the last session. Here it comes. Global Governance Initiative. No one takes it seriously because the next day was the victory parade and all that. It comes as the end of the trajectory. Everyone looks at this way. But the true fact meaning is coming now. Everyone said it's beyond China to establish a global governance initiative. The reasons why. Or Chinese economy is not doing well. It might be selling hell of a lot, no profit. I agree with it. I said so. Economy is weak. I said so. The military is in tatters. It can't fight a war. I agree. So what can Xi Jinping do? He wants to win without fighting. How does he do it? This is the way he does it. Just think what Xi Jinping is doing. If he can square up India and put it in a corner, and he gets into a G2 situation with Trump and sidelines Japan, which he's trying. The day that happens, and he gets USA to agree that Taiwan is part of China, one China. End of story. The global perception about China will change completely. And with that change of global perception, certain things which have happened, which now fall into place, will start happening. The moment that happens, and maybe in about 4, 5, 10 years, slowly faith in USA goes off and coercive faith comes in favor of China. A certain amount of centrality of China in world affairs comes in. Bingo! Economy revived. Economy revived. Everything else gets revived. There's a game plan on. What is China trying to say today? I am now putting the cart slightly before the horse. And this is not a single horse carriage. This is a carriage with about 5, 6 horses. So one of the horses I'm putting it forward. What's that? What's China trying? China is trying to be the guarantor of post-World War II global order. He's been speaking of it from that victory day, that parade. Oh, this is the parade of, because China was the one which, gave freedom and, was part of the World War. It defeated fascism, defeated Japan, gave all that. And it's also sending a message out that look, whoever Taiwan or its backers are challengers to that global order, which should be there, headed by China. or which is there now being headed by China. You have to understand this story. I mean, I don't know. Not many people will be convinced by what I'm saying, but that's the way I look at it, and I have no doubts about it. The problem with China has just increased manifold. Okay, now there are whole lot of analysis between the time the GGI was announced, Trump's meet, and now. Headlines like this: Why global initiative? China's global initiative represent the reform UN needs. Just think, what is the reform that UN needs? The reform is India, Brazil, Japan, Germany, and all should become part of the you know veto bloc with a permanent seat on the UN Security Council. China doesn't want that. It wants major part of UN to move into China, so that it's no more a body controlled headquartered in UNs. In the long run, it should be with China. They started launching intergovernmental and global governmental establishments in China. This happened recently. Just after I think about 15, 20 days after the Global Governance Initiative was announced, this happened. First, intergovernmental mediation body. So if you have a conflict somewhere, come to this body for mediation. Don't go to the International Court of Justice, all that. This is like a mafia boss. What does the mafia boss do? I have a problem with someone. I go to the mafia boss. He will say, okay, I'll give you justice. He'll do something and hocus pocus, and I pay the mafia boss. The mafia boss will take money from the other guy also and be happy. He'll do some solution, and some part of it you are prepared to lose. He's prepared to lose. End of story. China is assuming that role. Don't go to UN bodies. Come to me. I will establish it. So everyone starts going to China. Slowly, the shift to China will take place. Now, why will people go to China? When China says, "Oh, look, I've sorted out India, Japan, and USA," people will go to China. They have say, "Yeah, why go to these stupid democracies? I'll go to this fellow. He'll give me a solution like that." That's it. And this is a very interesting article. It says China is supporting multilateralism one institution at a time. It slowly is saying one more, one more, one more towards me. And it is building those new bank, old bank, Asian bank, some Chinese bank. The shift is taking place, and we have to understand that. So slowly, a whole lot of these development banks, Asian oriented, SEO oriented, Central Asian oriented, Chinese oriented, are coming up as financial institutions, which ultimately will form the alternate to IMF, World Bank, and all that. And if they form, then they control world finance. It's a matter of time that the reserve currency from dollar will shift to yuan. The more day something like that happens, even remotely, China is home and free. Influence, global influence will increase. Today, you might trust USA to some extent. Some extent, you do. Everyone has to trust USA for some extent, for whatever it is, whether you like it or not, because it's got the reserve currency of the world. Today, yuan can't become the reserve currency of the world because no one trusts China. But he will coerce you into trusting. You will have no option. And Trump is ensuring that Trump is slowly ensuring that US is not the option. If US is not the option, where do people go? People will go to China. And China is coercing people into getting to it. What's better than coercion of fixing USA, Japan, and India differently? or on tangents. So this is that's you have to understand what I'm saying. Many of you might not be convinced by my logic, but this is it. Now China wants to impose their own standards, like ISI mark, because he says, "Look, I am the world's manufacturing power, so everyone should go by my standards." See the shift which is taking place. He will Chinese standards are going to be. This is the attempt, and then of course there are articles like this. This is a Guancha article. Incidentally, Guancha is a completely communist party funded public newspaper, which is pro pro China, which I keep quoting from. Why do I sincerely advocate that many United Nation agencies move to China? Because China is the center of the world. And the CCP is that benign thing which will ensure that everyone lives in happiness. The only problem is everyone lives in happiness is the CCP. Everyone is not even the Chinese people because they are anyway unhappy. That can't be reversed. China is a state of rich, I keep saying, a rich country with poor people. That's not going to change. It's this mafia system of China which will continue, will ensure that everything is with them. The communist mafia. And this propaganda which is going on, please understand. Why am I talking of this propaganda? Look at what Global Times said after the SCO meet. That is when the GGI came. China's role as the main Eastern theater of World War II was decisively not in military terms, but in shaping the trajectory of world history. Today, that bugger is talking that, damn it. Understand this. Its endurance and sacrifice tied down the majority of Japanese forces. Ah, which history says so? Where did China ever fight in the Second World War? What did China sacrifice? In any case, whatever China sacrificed is not by the PRC, it is by the nationalist government. They didn't sacrifice anything. Who sacrificed? The Koreans, India. The turning point of the entire Second World War came with Slim's battles, defeat into victory. Please read it. Okay? Marked a turning point in China's modern history, restoring national dignity and re-establishing China as the central force in international affairs. This was put out immediately then. Now the same verbiage comes back. Then, of course, this thing came in between as US retreats. Can Xi Jinping's new initiative shape the future world order? So America says American people and foreign affairs and all say self-defeating retreat and all. Now the same thing is being told here in China by South China Morning Post, Guancha and all that. China is looking at a new world order. This spat with Japan, spat with India, they're all minor. We'll deal with them. We'll discuss them. Now the next marker was this meet in Busan, where everyone says, "Oh, look, there was a standoff between USA and China, and it was a tactical pulling back." I agree, it was a tactical pulling back, but strategically, China gained. What did China gain? China gained opportunity, and China said, "Look, here is USA. It can't force our hand. We can force its hands through rare earths, and this won't change for the next 2 years, at least." What 2 years? And in the next 2 years, I should do something before I let go. I have to let go of my rare earth grip. That's only grip. And some semiconductors and you can use DeepSeek through all you want in China. Nothing will happen to everyone else. Okay. So he says, this, I have my opportunity. I need to do something about it. And Sanai Takeichi gives the opportunity now. And it goes. This spat with the Sanai Takeichi, you have to understand. It gives China the opportunity to do what it wants to do now. A plan is rolling out. There's a danger in this plan, I must say this. Is China trying too much? It might. It might get caught in a situation where it doesn't have a option out. See, what did Sanai Takechi say? She said, I believe any action involving the use of force, such as China deploying naval ships, can only be described as a survival threatening situation. Naval ships around Taiwan. Okay? Survival threatening situation, which I've been saying for the past 5, 6, 7 days, means it's the benchmark which enables Japan to constitutionally militarize and the self defense forces can be deployed in an offensive role. In a way, is Xi Jinping getting into a trap? People say Japan can't fight, but I say marta kya na karta. Okay? So let's see how things go. But the fact is, we'll discuss how China's behavior with Japan, what it means. The day Sanai Takechi said, look, you interfere, I mean, you come to Taiwan, do what you want. But if you do and you're going to help, impinge on my sovereignty, I'm going to arm. What does she put on Yoniguni, that island which I have kept showing you for the past 4 days? She's put air defense guns. How can air defense guns become offensive weapons? But the Chinese narrative comes like that. Why? At one level, China is absolutely alarmed because if Japan continues with what it is doing or what it has professed, the Taiwan option by force is out. If the Taiwan force is option by force is out, the only diplomatic and political is that playing out. It is playing out. Politically, Taiwan needs support from USA, Japan, and everyone. And Trump ji has not spoken about it. He is maintaining ambiguity. I mean, he's playing a game of his own. That's okay. I have no problem with it. And probably, to a certain extent, I agree with what he is saying. But the fact is, a lot of reaction of China is because of alarm. Right? Now, if China goes and blockades Taiwan, Yoniguni and that islands next to it will get affected, in which case Japan will react. At the moment Japan reacts, that blockade won't happen. And you can put the self-defense forces for offensive purposes. Thank you. End of story as far as Chinese deployment around Taiwan is concerned. Unaffordable for China. So China has to react. And we'll see how China is reacting to Japan. That's why the violent reaction. And every day that reaction is getting even more complicated. And there's yet another paradigm which is coming out. And this is where China, like I said, there's risks in China's strategy. Both countries are going to USA. That's why I said Trump is playing his own game, but he's playing it quite smart actually. In one level, he's playing it smart. Because both are going to USA, कि भाई मेरे को बचाओ. So USA has become the cat in between the two monkeys. Or the monkey between the two cats. whichever way you look at it. Trump's bargaining position has increased. But People's Daily and all regular Xinhua, this, that, everyone saying we'll defeat China. If Japan does anything, we'll kill it, we'll do militarize it, yeah, all that. It'll end up in failure. So many things are being said. What will happen, we don't know. I mean, nothing will happen, to be very honest. Militarily, I don't think this fellow will take a step forward, Xi Jinping. But he is doing everything how to win without fighting. I'm giving you the both sides of the story, the way it's coming out. Now, like I said yesterday, that's why the moment I heard that news, I said I must give a thing, and I gave a 10-minute clip out and put it out. And some of you have seen it, some of you not understood it. Uh, I thought for the first time, why is Xi Jinping speaking to Trump? The three issues spoken: trade, Taiwan, and Ukraine. There's a deal. Is it panic? Xi Jinping might have panicked. But is it a threat given? I think so. I think Xi Jinping has very clearly threatened Trump. Get off. Taiwan is mine. Don't interfere. Don't let Japan interfere. You do that, I will ensure nothing happens in Ukraine. So, has Trump agreed to this deal that China will assist Trump in sorting out Ukraine? If that happens, then the pro quid quo is Trump helps China to take Taiwan. Has Trump reversed US policy completely? We don't know. The problem is we don't know. Though Trump's own tweet says nothing. Okay? This looks like an existential crisis for Japan, China, and all from many things. And Japan and China, if it goes along this trajectory, you're looking at a completely different paradigm. That's what I've been saying. As per Chinese uh, analysts, China is facing four fronts: the Korean front, Taiwan front, South China Sea front, and Indian front. ये फिफ्थ फ्रंट आ गया जापान का बीच में. ये तो आउट ऑफ सिलेबस है. Japan is out of syllabus because China felt that Japan will never fight with it. There's no military confrontation between Japan and China in their syllabus. ये तो out of syllabus हो गया. And to grant it to China, they say this out of syllabus hai. So there's a problem, but let's make use of it. They're bold about it. And they're using it. Okay. China wants to put a wedge between the US Japan alliance. If it can do that at the end of this, bale bale for China. Now they come out with a whole lot of things. If you see the readout of the Chinese foreign ministry, a lot of things about Ukraine, all that has come. But I picked up this. Yesterday also I showed this. This is a very important paragraph. It contains the whole story of what China is attempting. President Xi outlined China's principled position on Taiwan question. He underscored that Taiwan's return to China is an integral part of the post-war international order. The war ended in 1945. Okay. Today you're 80 years after the Second World War. And he says in this, China, Taiwan being part of China is part of that post-war order. And I've not read about this anywhere, but that's the line which they are taking. So why am I connecting this? Connect this with what they said after the victory parade. China is the one which is supposed to be the most central piece in the post-war order. Same story. This is a new story they have started with that. It is getting shaped today, right? China and the US fought shoulder to shoulder against fascism and militarism. Given what is going on, it is even more important for us to jointly safeguard the victory of World War II. So we should do it together. इसमें Russia is out of the equation, India is out of the equation, everyone is out of the equation. Only China and USA. What about Europe? Europe gave so many sacrifices for the thing. Without the sacrifice of Europe and its people, oh, you think Americans would have won? So this is where now saying, oh, let's get together and we can divide the world into two halves. G2. Out of the four blobs, this is the second blob which I'm talking of, or the first blob, G2 status. He's bidding for G2 status. And like I said, it was absolutely out of the blue that Xi Jinping called Trump up. Okay. But within China, that's not the narrative. The narrative is, why is Trump calling up Xi Jinping again? Which means Xi Jinping is the most important thing, and outside is, they're all trying to come to China and, seek uh, China's support. Why is he doing it? Naturally, they're building up a narrative for Chinese people to follow. And if the Chinese people support them, period, that's it. They'll go all out. If the Chinese people in China support this thinking that Trump spoke to Xi Jinping, it will go to the Chinese community all over the world. Everyone will say, oh, yeah, this is the way it is. That's the propaganda will take over. And soon you will find this coming out of Western press also. There's a narrative, there's a gray zone warfare going on and everything. And Saichonma Morning Post and Reuters and everyone has now said this headline. Xi Jinping has made it clear that Taiwan belongs to China in this post-war world order. He's told Trump. Why? Because China now believes that Trump will bend to this. The opportunity they see is Trump is vulnerable. He's got no bloody clue of strategy. Ye wo. How this will play out, we'll see. I mean, my own way of thinking is, if India, Japan, and USA get their act together, then we are on. Otherwise, we are stuck. This is the thing. Xi welcomed Russia, North Korea for the military parade in Tiananmen Square. And just a month later, Li Qiang went for a military parade in North Korea. Military exchange. Now, what you're seeing, you're looking at China, Russia, North Korea, ranged against Japan, South Korea, Taiwan. Now, those three are nuclear weapon states. These three are non-nuclear weapon states, South Korea, Japan, and Taiwan, and are dependent on US. Now, if USA is taken out of the scene, which is what which is what this fellow is trying, Xi Jinping. In G2, we are post-World War victors. We have to lay the thing, and they get US away from the Indo-Pacific. Thank you. End of story. There's a new Indo-Pacific theater. Asia Pacific dream will come through. The Chinese guys are presenting themselves as the guardians of the existing world order. And at some level, if they can do, we can get USA into the blue corner or the white corner and say you stay out of it, then they'll alter status quo by force. And China wants to do it. I mean, China is itching. Then this is the commentary coming from Japan. If China can bully Japan, it can bully anyone. And this is what all of us have to understand. And this is the part of the story they're trying it with India. We have to understand what's going on. If you don't understand, we'll talk only of India, China, and all that. Then, okay, I found this very interesting. What all already China has done against Japan? It's halted seafood imports. Okay, any concert by any Japanese performers has been cancelled in China. Flights to Japan have been cancelled. Tourists going to Japan have been cancelled. Students going to Japan have been cancelled. Warships have been sailing past. I've spoken about it. Uzumi Straits. 3 PLA warships have gone past. Right? And there's been increased Coast Guard activity between Taiwan and Yonaguni. That matter has gone to UN. All this has happened in the past 1 week. China has gone on overdrive. Politically, economically, and militarily. But it's not crossed that threshold. And I don't think it will cross that threshold. Coercion, military coercion, economic coercion, all round coercion is on. Just think, if Japan, which is protected by USA, can be coerced to do what China bids, then it will twist everyone's tail. That will be a great message to everyone in the world in establishing China as the head of the global order. Right? This is the operative thing of this whole story today. The lesson Beijing wants others to absorb is clear. Stay silent on Taiwan, on Chinese expansionism from South and East China Sea, and to the Himalayas, and on human rights abuses. What China is trying to achieve is that no one should talk about what China is doing, whether it's Taiwan or on Japan or in South China Sea or in expansion in East China Sea, Himalayas, wherever. Himalayas against the expansion in Himalayas need not be into Arunachal Pradesh, but into Myanmar, but into Bhutan, but into Nepal. That's the most worrisome thing for me than getting locked with India and Bangladesh. This is coercive diplomacy elevated into a foreign policy doctrine. What I've written here. Understand that. They're trying to push Japan to accept China's red lines. They're pushing USA to accept China's red lines on Japan and Taiwan. And they're pushing India to accept its red lines. The day we do that, China is number one. Then Beijing will not intend, then Beijing will deal with Asia through intimidation, economic punishment, and calibrated use of nationalistic fury. A matter of time. The stakes are high. If you keep quiet like idiots after this Arunachal incident, we are done. Taiwan has reacted. Let's be very clear. He says return to China is not an option. Okay? And He said, the Taiwanese president has said, I will boost up my GDP, or rather, defense expenditure on GDP. He says initially it will be 3%, and I'll build up to 5% of the GDP I'll put on defense. But overall, that's less to handle China. Need more. Then this fracas put so nicely in this cartoon. Have a look. Right? All this, how Pem Tongdok has been detained, not given food, not allowed consular access, on the premise that, Arunachal is part of China and you are a Chinese. This girl doesn't know Chinese. And she's asked some very good questions. She said, look, if I'm Chinese, I don't know Chinese. I don't want to know Chinese. I don't want to eat Chinese food. If you think I'm Chinese, give me my rights, which I don't have. You don't allow me to travel on an Indian passport, you're not giving me a Chinese passport. All those things she's asked, but that's only nitpicking and small issues. You think the Chinese will bother? They're not bothered, they're doing it deliberately. Okay, you give a strong protest like this. It doesn't matter, it's sausage. And because they're not doing this alone. I said that this is something which is very important. They're showing altered maps brazenly. Firms from China are showing it in everywhere they go. And of course, they're reacting to the fact that you're building your infrastructure. They'll use these. So you are being dealt with on one line, Taiwan on one line, Japan on one line, and USA on another line. That's why it showed the four blobs initially. And this lady has very clearly said, listen to her again. Oh, you can't hear. Anyway, it's not coming. Even for me, it's not coming. But this lady has very clearly said that Zangan is an Arunachal Pradesh. The so-called Arunachal Pradesh is not part of India, it's part of China. Very clear. You keep saying that. What have we done? Of course, you can't go to war with China for this. But the focus of everyone is on this fact about what we have done with China. What we have done with China or what we have to do with China is not on one to one with China. That you have to do whatever you have to do, you can do. Okay. But you need to do more. This normal protest and all won't take us long. Right? So this is what I had to give you an overview. What do you do? Isn't it time? Okay, USA and Trump are on a tangent. But can we reach out to Japan? Can you reach out to Taiwan? Can you reach out to Philippines? Can you reach out to Australia and start something new? You have to give a strong message to China. On one side, it is using North Korea. On the other side, its attack dog is Pakistan. Okay, don't do anything against all of them. Sort out Pakistan. भाई पाकिस्तान को तो छोड़ो. I've been saying this. You start your political outreach into POK, and China's everything will get fried. Okay. Oh, get back to this four. This is it. It is very clearly thrown the gauntlet down to USA. I'm G2. They have absolutely said that area is not sovereign to you. The way they have spoken about Arunachal, it's a matter of sovereignty to India. And Japan is having its own fight. And Japan is not backing down. And Japan is quite strong about it. Hats off to that lady who said, "You like hell. If you come here, you think it doesn't affect me." So far, all Japanese have not made this statement. Support her. Don't support anyone else. Support her. Support Taiwan. All you have to say is officially, one China rule is out. One China principle is no more valid as far as I'm concerned. The moment you say that, na, अभी तो बोलो यार, he wants entire Arunachal, and our people are not prepared to talk of one China policy. At least stop, say officially, we are not going. I know for the past 10 years we have not followed that one China policy, but it's time now to say I'm not going to follow that policy. Or put out, okay, you say that Arunachal is yours, fine, we have no problem. Hereafter, our one China policy we will review. And we will also review Tibet status. Two statements. As part of the border settlement, we feel that the Tibetan problem has to be solved first. Ti- Autonomous rights to Tibet as per the middle path of Dalai Lama, or something like that you put out. And talk of even Hong Kong. Hong Kong also they took illegally. We have so many options. Why is our government not talking so far? Like I said, I have no problem. Don't talk. Don't talk against Pakistan. Start action. So I think there are a lot of things. I have put this to give you the overview. And there is a lobby. We should start writing in USA. Get people to think about what's happening, the larger perspective. I find it very depressing that our government is not doing enough on this. I'm being very honest, and I'll talk of it tomorrow, day after, whoever wants me to talk. This is the way I look at it. I don't know whether many of you might not even agree with what I'm speaking. China is China's got no option. Please understand why is China doing this? It's got no option. There are articles there and very well written articles and good analysis which says globalization is dead. Who was the biggest, uh, you know, beneficiary of globalization? The biggest beneficiary of globalization was China. And China is going to get hit because no one, India is not going to back off and open up market for China, nor is US, nor is many countries. The fall guy is Europe. Can you go to Europe and tell them what nonsense are we talking? Look at this asshole, Damien D. Jobier. He says UP is also China. Come, get your Chinese chaps to UP. Then you'll see what these chaps will do to all your Chinese guys. You teach your fucking Chinese to these UPites. They'll really shove a paratha up your backside and send you back with a noodle in your mouth. You have to understand, right? So we have to do something different. How? There are so many options. There's so many options. Otherwise, we are in trouble. Let me be very honest about it. Putin is coming here. 6th December, Mr. Putin will be here. and they are dreaming of RIC. I tell that dream. I don't know. Putin or no Putin, we'll have good relations with Russia is one thing, but forget about RIC. Okay. So all this we have to put across. Right. So I'll stop here and I'll take on a few questions. And what I'd say is before I take on questions, if you feel that uh, this video is okay, like it, subscribe to Gunner Shot, press that bell icon, and also join Gunner Shot as members. Right. Yeah. So I'll uh, take a few questions. Yeah, Akash, good evening. Hmm. Right. Visit Bharat, good evening. Thanks a lot. Vishwanathan, Namaskaram. Ashok, Shankar Garu, good evening. Thanks a lot, Ashok, joining in. Ladybird Haro, good evening. Um, yes, they were interesting. How was your mob visit? Mob visit was great. I'll talk of it tomorrow. Right? Yeah, look, don't talk too much about Modi ji's success. Huh? Modi ji is successful, but Modi ji has to do something solid now. It's a matter of his thing. Don't we should not overhype Mr. Modi ji. Understand that. Okay. CCP has internal unrest, same playbook of Pakistan. I agree with all that. They can, if they have internal unrest in China, exploit it. I know it. Exploit it. That's one of the options. Yeah, the two short videos are very good. Yeah, Murli, they didn't have analysis, but they give some facts with some analysis. Today is a larger analysis which I've done. I hope you liked it. The western sector is warming up, the north is freezing while the colonialists are playing cyber games. In all this, Pak is confused and China wonders where it stands. I don't think so. I think we should stop looking at it this way. Time has come for us to be proactive. And proactive not militarily but politically. That's the way I look at it. Okay. Good evening, Kiran. Good evening, Narsimha Rao. Uh, Taiwanese nationals are not singled out as holders of invalid passports by CCP. पैसा है ना उसमें पैसा है. There's a lot of investment from Taiwan into mainland China. I had requested General Sir to educate us on the non-filmy version of the Zangla. I'll talk of this Zangla war and the history when I come to dealing with Eastern Ladakh. Otherwise, you will not understand the whole story. Sir, you have been repeatedly ruminating China cannot be trusted. You have proven. I never had a doubt about what I said. Okay. Yeah, Amitesh, good evening. Thanks a lot. Is China weak inside that it is trying to externalize China's problem? Part of the deal. Naturally, if its economy rises, internal problems are addressed, and all China is back in action. That's what I said. And this is the thing which we need to do with Pakistan politically. What China is doing politically all over without going into a fight is what we have to do. Even people consider someone stupid. If it is truth, it is truth. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, a story revolves around Major Shaitan Singh and his troops at Razangla. Cannot recollect Gurungul. Gurungul is just next to it. It's across the Moldo Gap. Okay. A Tibetan village where the natives got massacred is shown forgotten name. Yeah. Mm, it is time to call out Tibet as an independent country. Yeah, I think so. Why not we all talk about Tibetan and all Indian maps should show Tibet? I agree with you, but it's up to the government, isn't it? The government has to do it. Isn't it actually counterproductive for China to light up the Indian fronts, especially now that Japan and US are. I hope you heard what I said. They're doing it specifically. They're taking up all these fronts specifically, diplomatically and politically. This is a political fight, damn it, and that's how he gets prominence. India being close with Japan should support and stand Japan. Yeah, I agree with you. There are reports USA received highest China loans. That's a fact also. After the Lehman's Brothers crash, it was China which virtually bailed out USA. It's all known. Trump is bringing down US and enabling China by weakening India economically. Spot on. I agree with you. If CCP are using GGI as an excuse to fire up their offense, knowing fully well the bloodshed will ensure, does that mean their internal situation is that bad, or this is it? It's not saber rattling. There's no saber rattling in this entire story. Please understand that. What is happening is deliberate. It is coercive diplomacy to make people fall in line. The moment make people are fall in line, then the world understands you have no choice but to deal with China. Shift the center of the globe towards China, in which case your economy starts reviving through coercive practices. As simple as that. Is don't you do you think the move is to intimidate India to want us not to get too close to the anyway you're not close, yeah, it is USA who's pushed away. Manchetta, you've not seen what I've written there, what I've spoken of. Ukraine issue almost coming to an end. Japan are in bearing fangs can be read as US writing. No, I don't think so. Ukraine won't end in a hurry. Don't be optimistic about Ukraine. Is Imran killed by Pak army? I don't know. Let things happen. We'll talk of it tomorrow, day after. Yeah, General Shankar is back. Let's go. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, after misbehaving against a resident with a resident of UK with Indian origin, Arunachal, China has brought things back to square one. Last straw. Yeah, I agree with you. We should end first thing we should do is end China, one China policy. I agree with you completely. Yeah. And Tech 6607, thanks a lot for becoming a YouTube member. Right? And yeah, he said, wait for more information. He began his podcast with Imran answering a post I made. Yeah, just wait. What's the hurry? अगर वो मर गया तो मर गया यार. We'll know what it is. We'll see how Pakistan behaves. Hmm. Today podcast is amazing. Thank you. Uh, yeah, the tragedy is India proposed China for the security. Look, that's history. That's gone. What we have done, there's no point going back. Look ahead. We are in a situation. We should do what we have to do. China has pumped $2.2 trillion as loans across the world. Yeah. Greetings, Lofi. Long time since you have come on. Thanks a lot. A bit of wargaming and cutting a long story short, Bharat is facing enemies, Pakistan, China, who are backed by USA, who in turn is a stooge of the colonial. Hell, I leave it to your imagination. Uh, Defeat into victory, Joseph Slim. Yeah, Lieutenant General Shankar recommended this book in earlier presentations. For those wondering, it has to do with the Battle of Burma. Free PDF is available at internet. It's a fantastic book. You must read it. One of the best books on Burma and how to understand Second World War and our Indian contribution to Second World War. Indian contribution to Second World War was in defeating Japan in Burma. In Indian contribution, the next part was what we did in Europe and North Africa. Good evening, very insightful. Thanks a lot, Vikram. And yeah, China's strategy is to win without fighting is spot on. The fact that the current general can't fight is a different issue, though. That's a different story. That visit of Putin has worried both US and China. I don't think so. China is playing through Putin. To some extent, Putin is getting played, so we'll see how it is. Yeah. Yeah. Amrit Mahipal Gupta, thanks a lot for becoming a YouTube member. Uh, yeah, Jeet, thanks a lot for joining in. Do spread this, all of you spread this to everyone. How will China's power projection ever work if they never fight and therefore no one respects their army? Look, this is coercion, this is political coercion, this is economic coercion, and this is not, please understand, China is not getting it through great actions and philanthropy and all. They're getting it through deceit. And anyone who does things by deceit is dangerous. Do a podcast on Chinese intelligence agency. Let's see if they're okay. Uh, yeah, been following this China's one China policy for a claim for a while. Whether they invade Taiwan or not remains unknown. They'll never do it. However, they'll never let it be a proxy of ES either, is what I gather. Yes, to a large extent. To a large extent, you're right. Right? Uh, but today, the scene is not about one China, two China. Uh, what China wants today is Taiwan to be recognized as part of China. Simple. That's what they're aiming for, and that is how they're pitching for this G2A wall. The stakes are high in this game. General Sir, I believe it's not Xi Jinping winning, but Trump. Let him win. That is against US. Let's see how it goes. I don't think so. Now I understand there's a rift between Europe and USA because they do not want to comply to this dictation by both USA and China. Donald Trump is Chinese agenda pusher, I believe. Let's see. The problem is Trump is one of the weakest presidents China has had, as USA has had. He's the weakest president, and he's going to ruin everyone's game plan. We'll see how it goes. That is why I said we have to do, and I've been saying this for quite some time. We have to formulate our strategy with others. Uh, Japan, Taiwan, Philippines, Indonesia to some extent, Australia, and Europe, and strong countries of Europe. We have to do. We have to go out of. We have to get out of the thinking that USA will do anything for us. We will not be able to de-link from USA. Let's be very clear. We'll need USA. You must use USA. But your larger policy direction has to change. What will USA's policy be post Trump? We have to see. We don't know. There are 3 more years of Trump. Don't be in a hurry. Do you think India should withdraw its recognition of Tibet as an autonomous region of China? It must. But for that, you need political strength. You need military strength to do that. Yeah, Amitesh is making a good point. Singapore and Switzerland don't fight. They are the first developed nation. But the problem with, I won't say problem, the thing with Singapore and Switzerland is they offer neutral ground for everyone to fight there. That's why they are safe. Like Qatar. Qatar, Singapore, and Switzerland are on one plane. India should support Tibetan politically recognize it. I agree with you. Uh, Boy, they are poking you. They want to see your frustration. Yeah, we must do something. Why get frustrated? Hmm. Niti Aayog report in a report asked government to take back 2020 restriction on Chinese. They're fools. Niti Aayog is set of fools on this. I'm saying this openly. So insightful analysis with slide you have been given a perfect uppercut in connecting China's deep-seated geopolitical goals, playbook, fundamental need of CCP to remain its Yeah, you have to understand CCP. If you don't understand, I can talk to you about what's happening in this Arunachal case, and Pema Dorji has also spoken what he had to. Pema Kandu, he's also spoken what he has to speak, and we can talk of that. For I can talk of this episode for the next 1 hour, but it doesn't. You have to look at the larger picture. Such arbitrary action will derail the relationship. It's already derailed. What is there to derail further? Trump is acting like a self-service serving idiot. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I agree, sir. It's time Modi ji's actions speak than words. Yeah, Revi Chandra Gopalan. Good evening. Thanks a lot. Um could China be pressurized in Aksai Chin when Pakistan falls? But first, make Pakistan fall. That's the point. You're not trying that also. Unless you do that, nothing will happen. China breaks all arrangements and Bharat follows on Tibet passport. We should do it. See, we should do it. The point is, the time has come to stop talking. That's the way I look at it. Look at this chap. You're wrong. China has many enemies and India is not a major one. You're trying too hard to make India look. Minguji, we know who you are and you're thinking. Don't worry. Yeah. Good evening, Mrs. Claire. Jai Hind to you. Um, should we consider integrating Nepal and Bhutan into India? That's up to the people of Nepal and Bhutan. The day will come when they will vote. Have no choice. Um, what do you think we will take? When do you think we will take action against Pakistan for it? Look, it's a composite thing. It's not that one day you look at China, one day you look at Pakistan. We should have a macro plan and execute. And that plan has to be fundamentally political in nature. I've been telling this. And then we can do everything else. SIR in Bengal is part of Op Indoor? Maybe. The only way in China can harm India is economically. It can't. Sorry. They can block API, shape it. That'll all come crashing. There, you see, China, it might work for 1, 2 years. If India goes on overdrive and develops its APIs and blocks APIs from China, or China, if China blocks our APIs in 2 years, and you put up your own factories, after that you block China's APIs. What will he do with his APIs? He can only shove it up wherever he wants. So there are two way, both sides of the story. So don't get too worried about it. Yeah, Putin is too smart to be get played by China. There I agree with you. Yeah. So China borders are within the Great Wall. They do not encompass Xinjiang, Yunnan, and Tibet and Mongolia. I agree with you. I've done a program on this many times. But we need to do this politically. I don't know when we are going to do it. Thank you so much for the talk, sir. It's time to recognize Hong Kong as SAR passport and counter China with Tibet. Yeah, yes, there's one of the options. One of the options. Okay. China thinks they are bullying us. They are bullying India into supporting Pakistan and its terror groups. That's not the way to look at it. You look at it from a different viewpoint. Look at India from Indian viewpoint and how we have to sort out China and Pakistan together. Okay, we should recognize Tibet and as a country. Yeah, we should. Will okay. Is Trump doing dirty deals with Chinese for selfish motives, compromising US for possible? Fully possible. Right. Okay. Uh, yeah, this is an important point. Our politics will move according to our people's opinion. We must push our government to de-recognize Tibet. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. Xi has taken a page out of Bruce Lee's Enter the Dragon. Lee says on the junk to the island, my style is art of fighting without fighting. Yeah, that's there, but that's what he's trying. Let's see where it goes. Uh, yeah. And Jeet, finally, your last question, sir. I asked because that will be a good time to gain political might and global support. I agree with you. We have to start something. I mean, no more sitting foolishly quiet is no more an option. That's the point I'm trying to make. Fine. Thank you. Thanks a lot for all of you who attended. And also thank Aditya Chennai, who's joined me as a YouTube member today. Thank you. I would request more of you to join and more of you to subscribe. We'll take this forward. Tomorrow I'll see what I can make out of what I spoke in Mao and about technology. They had a very interesting discussion on technology. I gave them a few maxims out. I'll speak of it tomorrow. And we'll see where it goes. Okay. And then, of course, tomorrow evening is the three good generals. We'll discuss it there. Till then, have a great day. Enjoy yourselves. And Jai Hind to all of you. And it's good to be back with all of you.